So Jai Hind all, and today's we will discuss about two very hot topic in today's scenario. This is cloud federation, which is belongs to your cloud computing nodes into the unit 5. Let's discuss about what is the doing in cloud federation. So federation of OpenStack clouds. So what is the cloud federation? Cloud federation means we can say that it is a federated cloud, also called the cloud federation, is the deployment and management of multiple external and internal cloud computing services to match business needs. Just like they are, if already discussed about Google, Microsoft, Amazon, these are the cloud provider, and we can sharing data with each other, just like Google Drive to the Microsoft to the Amazon. So they are the multiple external and internal cloud computing services to match the business needed. So federation is the union of several small parts that perform a common action. Suppose if you want to perform a action and if you want to need different type of cloud service provider, so for the one part we use Amazon, for the one another part we use the Google Drive, Google Cloud, for the next part we are using for the Microsoft. They are the different for the next part we are using the Oracle. So if you are perform a single action, but we need the different type of cloud environment, so just we are using the cloud federation. For example, there are other cloud federation example are there. Here we are the end users, just like the one. Here is the one CSP 1, cloud service provider 1, cloud service provider 2, and cloud service provider 3. So cloud federation is the concept of bringing different service offered by various provider under a single platform. So they are providing the another service 1, service 2, there is provided the service 1, and they are provided the 3. So we are using different service provider from using different services. So just like the capacity utilization, the advantage is basically the capacity utilization, interoperability, catalog of the services, and insight about the provider and the service legal agreements. So different CSP join together to form a federation. Okay, so provider 1, provider 2, provider 3, provider 4. So what are the benefits of the cloud federation? The first benefit is maximize resources utilization. Okay, minimize power consumption. We have to balance the load from the different provider. Cloud busting, also we can different provider have a different cloud storage. Global unity, expand cloud provider geographic footprint also. So bringing concept into cutting edge technology, if we talked about to first step toward hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is basically it is a combination of public and private cloud. The federation allow for splitting authentication and authorization. Authentication, what is the means of authentication and what is the means of the authorization? Authentication means we have to authenticate someone to insert our username and password, and authorization we have provided which kind of service they have authorized and which kind of service they have not authorized. So it is dependent on from the admin side of view. Security purpose, easy of configuration, and the centralized identity management. So what are the type of characterization and the definition for the cloud federation? So already the terms use cloud federation and the intercloud. Intercloud means intercloud management is the topic, and we already discussed. We have to manage between the two cloud service provider. Often used interchangeably, convey the general meaning of an aggregation of the cloud computing provider that have separate administrative domains. So it is important to clarify what these two terms mean and how they apply to cloud computing. The term federation implies the creation of an organization that supersedes the decision and the administrative power of the single entities and then act as a whole. Within a cloud computing context, the word federation does not have such a strong connotation, but implies that there are agreement between the various cloud provider, allowing them to leverage each other's service in the privileged manner. Okay. A definition of the term cloud federation was given by Reuven Cohen, founder of the CTO of the Anomaly. So, cloud federation manage consistency and access control when two or more independent geographical distinct cloud, just like Google and just like Amazon, share either authentication, share their file, share their computing resources, command and control or access of the storage resources. Okay, for example, that is the user and they are using the service provider CSP1 for Google, and that is Amazon. So they are switching, they are communicate, they are sharing with each other what kind of storage if we are needing. So definition is broad enough to include all the different expression of the cloud service aggregation that are governed by agreements between cloud providers rather than composed by the user. So what are the difference between intercloud and the cloud federation? Name like a same, but there are the lot of difference. So primary difference between the intercloud and the federation, that the intercloud is based on the future standards. What kind of standards they are follow to provide data sharing with each other, and the open interface, while federation uses a vendor version of the control plane. Okay, they are working on the standards. What kind of standards they are follow? They are using for the using with the vendor version of the control plane. With the intercloud vision, all clouds will have a common understanding of how applications should be deployed. Eventually, workloads submitted to the cloud will include enough to a definition, just like the resources, just like the security, just like the service level, geolocation, so that the cloud is able to process the request and deploy the application. The term intercloud refers mostly on a global vision in which interoperability among different cloud provider is governed by standards. So they are working with the standards, thus creating an open platform where application can shift workload and freely compose service from different sources. On the other hand, the concept of cloud federation is more general. In this federation, they are working on the common problem, okay, and include ad hoc aggregation. Ad hoc aggregation means whenever we required, we have to aggregate all the services provided between cloud provider on the basis of the private agreement and the proprietary interface. So what is the need and why we use of the cloud federation? The first thing is the capacity management. We have to manage the capacity from the different cloud provider, service provider to our work. We have to balance the load because there is the all load is not on the single CSP. They are the load distributed between the different CSP. Prevention from the vendor lock-ins. If they are one vendor is lock-in, then we can using with the another vendors. Scaling data to other CSP also. Efficient use for the surplus resources and prevention for the power outage and the failure. So if we are using different CSP, then we can easily find out which CSP is good, which PSP is better, which CSP services is good, which CSP services is not good according to you. So we can easily switch these services to different service provider. So what kind to the driving factor for the cloud federation? The first is choice of the providers. Next one is mix and match of the services. Going local, heterogeneity of the platform, and ability to scale and the movement and migration of the workload. So these are the some factors that we choose to the cloud federation. Provider enterprises centric hybrid clouds. So these are the three cloud 1, cloud 2, cloud 3. And this is the self-service portal where user access and which type of service used by the cloud 1 and which kind of service used by the cloud 2 and which from the cloud 2. So hybrid approach, public private, help in scaling and migration gradually in the different cloud of the location suitable to specific enterprises and cloud service provider. Marketplace based federation model. So cloud marketplace, here they are the different cloud service provider. They are the federation engine that is using to combine all the cloud service provider, and that is cloud service 1, that is the provider 1 like Google suppose, and this is provider 2 like Amazon. So search, select and compare the offer services, create and provision workload to the across provider, consolidate usage data and billing across provider, platform agnostic model, that is flexible workload management and migration across the provider, choice of the provider and the offers, and create competitive environment that leads to the innovation. So they are the different level of the federation. So creating the cloud federation involve research and development at different level. First one is the conceptual. Conceptual means what kind of work we are doing, what kind of provider they are providing, what kind of process we are using, just like to concept, not implementation part. Second one is the logical and operational. That is basically the how we will work using with the different cloud. Okay, what are the process we are follow, how to implement. And last one is to infrastructure, that is the hardware part, which kind of hardware we are using for the federation. So conceptual part is basically we have two motivation about to the service, we have an advantage, we have opportunity, and we have a obligation. Okay, logical and operational level, what kind of federation model are they are available, what kind of service, what kind of provider, what kind of agreements are there, what are the pricing model on the market, and what is the SLA, as service level agreement. This is the logical and the operational level, like the implementation part. Infrastructure level, that is basically belongs to the hardware part, and the global standards are followed. So protocols, what kind of protocol, what kind of interfaces using, what kind of standards are there, what is programmatic operation, and federation platform, just like two platform are reservoir or the inter cloud. So conceptual level means already discussed, we have to explain about what kind of concept, what kind of using of the services. Challenges presenting in the cloud federation as a favorable solution with respect to the use of the service leased by the single cloud provider. In this level, it is important to clearly identifying the advantage for either service provider or service consumer in joining a federation, and to delineate the new opportunity that a federated environment create with respect to a single provider solution. Element of concern at this level are motivation of the service consumer to the leverage of federation, advantage of provider in leasing their service to other provider, obligation of provider once they have joined the federation, trust agreement between provider, or transparency versus consumers. Second one is logical and operational level. In this level we discuss about implementation part. The logical and operational in the federated cloud, identifying the addresses of the challenge and devising a framework that enable the aggregation of provider that belongs to the different administrative domain within the context of single overlay infra, which is the cloud federation. At this level, policies, rules of the interpretation are defined. Moreover, this is the layer in which decisions are made as to how and when to lease a service or to leverage a service from another provider. The logical component define a context in which agreements among provider are settled and service are negotiated, and where the operational component characterize and shapes the dynamic behavior of the federation as a result of the single provider choice. The last one is the infrastructure level. Infrastructure level is basically it is the hardware part. The technical challenge involved in the enabling the heterogeneous, because different type of devices with different type of cloud computing system are there. So that is very challenging. So it deal with the technology varies that keep separate cloud computing system belonging to the different administrative domain. By having standardized protocol and interfaces, that these barriers can be overcome. At this level, it is important to address the following issue: what kind of standards should use, how should design interface and protocol be designed for interpretation, which are the technologies to use for interoperation, and how can we realize software system design platform component service enabling interoperability. So in the first use case, we will discuss about the identity federation. Identity federation is just like to identify the person who are using the federation is valid or not valid. So identity federation enable dispute identification, authentication, authorization across organization. The platform boundaries require a federated trust relationship between two organizations or entities, enable organization to retain control over who can access resources, also enable organization to retain control of their user and the user group account. Just like this is they are the user and they are provided the identity provider, they are the service provider, and they are the identity provider from the another user, and they are also the service provider. So they are using with the identity management. So mechanisms to establish trust between identity provider and the multiple OpenStack cloud enabling users. These are the different kind of users are there to access resources across multiple cloud endpoint with a single credential without having to provision additional identity for each provider. Using only one identity, they are switching from one provider to the another provider. What is claim based identity? So claim based identity provide information about user who the identity provider authenticates and which the application provide accept. They have to claim about two services. So these are the security token services, that is the outgoing claims, and they are the incoming claims. This is the application provider. This application provider is going to identifying the claim, the security tokens, the person is valid or not. Case 2, federation orchestration. In this federation orchestration, basically user that is using for the virtual machine, queue that is load balancer, there is the monitoring and management, and that is the backup DR. Marketplace self-service portal where the user using, and this self-service portal, the user identified what kind of virtual machine are using, what kind of load balancing are, what are the management, what are the monitoring, and all information going to the federation engine. And this federation engine connected with the three different provider, just like Google, just like Amazon, and just like Microsoft. So ability to provision and migrate workload across providers seamless to achieve portability and the interoperability. Multi-cloud orchestration using HEAT, marketplace self-service portal, workload template. Their HEAT is OpenStack 1 and OpenStack 2. So standalone HEAT engine serving as an orchestration layer in the federation engine. This is belongs to the federation engine. And service category used as a hot templates, and portability can be achieved through Tosca compliant templates. So Tosca means topology and orchestration specification for the cloud application. So just like the AWS marketplace, it is the screenshot of the AWS marketplace, Amazon Web Services, and these are the different type of services they are provided. Cloud federation, are we there yet? The answer is almost. We can share identities between clouds. We need to build virtual intercloud network. We need share images between cloud, and we need intercloud metering also. So today's we already discussed about what is the cloud federation and what is the difference between intercloud and the cloud federation, what are the levels of the cloud federation, and what kind of scenarios they are using. These are some differences. If you have asked any question, just ask on my mail id guptapradeep@akgc.ac.in. Thank you.